I'm almost $500,000 in debt. She's 40 years old. $500,000. And she's not alone. $20,000 in debt. We're in our 20s. It's not the numbers, it's the shrug. The casual tone, like they're talking about the weather, not financial devastation that could haunt them for decades. This isn't one person making one bad choice. This is millions of people living the same nightmare, and they don't even know they're in it yet. Welcome to the debt crisis that doesn't look like a crisis. It looks like your life. It looks like normal. And that's exactly what makes it so dangerous. If you're still watching, I need your help with something. Every person who understands what's really happening is one less person getting blindsided. My friend thinks I'd never reach 1,000 subscribers covering content like this, that people would rather stay comfortable than informed. Help me prove that wrong. Because these stories, they're not just tales, they're your life. Let me paint you a picture. You've got $5,000 on your credit card. Maybe $10,000. Uncomfortable? Sure. Life ruining? Nah, you can handle this. You make the minimum payment every month. $150, sometimes $200. The bank doesn't call. Your credit score stays decent. Bills get paid. Life continues. You're being responsible, right? Wrong. Here's what's actually happening while you pat yourself on the back. That $200 payment, maybe $30 of it touches your actual debt. The rest, pure interest. At 24% APR, which is where most cards sit right now, you're basically paying the bank to let you stay in debt. It's like trying to bail out a sinking boat with a teaspoon while someone's drilling new holes in the bottom. But here's the really sneaky part. It feels okay. Nothing explodes. Netflix doesn't get canceled. Your car still runs. From the outside, life looks completely normal. This is the illusion, the comfort zone of doom. Because when debt feels survivable, it starts to feel normal. And when something feels normal, you stop treating it like a threat. Groceries on the card? Sure, things are tight this month. Gas? Easier to swipe than watch the bank account. That concert ticket? It's only $80 and I deserve this. And you do deserve nice things. But here's what nobody tells you. Credit cards have turned into income in people's minds. Not borrowing, not debt. Just money that's there. Then you hop on social media, everyone's joking about it, screenshots of balances, tag yourself, I'm 15K in debt, LOL. Comments full of people saying, same, and felt that. When everyone's drowning together, it stops feeling like drowning. It feels like swimming. The scary part isn't that people use credit. Credit has existed forever. The scary part is how casually people talk about carrying balances that would have caused absolute panic 10 years ago. This phase only works under one condition. Nothing can go wrong. No job loss, no medical emergency, no car breakdown, no surprise expense. Because the second something shifts, even slightly, these manageable numbers turn into an avalanche. And that's usually when people start looking for a way to make the pain stop without actually fixing the problem. That's where things get interesting. Split it into 4 payments. No interest, no problem. Sounds beautiful, doesn't it? Klarna, Afterpay, Affirm. These apps feel like a solution. Like you're being smart. Budgeting. Responsible, even. Here's what actually happens. You buy shoes. 4 payments of $25. 3 days later, you buy a lamp. 4 payments of $15. A week later, skincare. 4 payments of $30. Then a couch. 4 payments of $100. Each purchase feels isolated. Each payment feels tiny. Your brain categorizes them as harmless. Then payday hits. Payment 1, $25. Okay? Payment 2, $15. Fine. Payment 3, $30. Sure. Payment 4, $100. Wait. Payment 5, $25. Hold on. Payment 6, $40. What is happening? Suddenly, $235 is gone. Before you pay rent, before you buy groceries, before you do anything. This is psychological warfare, and you're losing. Buy now, pay later doesn't create bad habits. It exposes them. It removes the friction that used to make you pause and think, wait, can I actually afford this? No pause means no decision, just automatic spending. And the marketing? Genius. Evil genius. They call it a budgeting tool. They say it's the responsible alternative to credit cards. They make you feel smart for using it, but missed payments don't disappear. They hit your credit. They go to collections. And most people don't find this out until it's too late. I didn't realize it added up like that. I thought I had more time. I didn't know it could go to collections. The tool isn't the problem. The problem is using it when you're already on thin ice financially. When interest rates are high, when income is unstable, when emergencies aren't rare anymore, they're regular. Then people post about it. Screenshots of payment schedules. 5 apps just took money 5 seconds apart, LMAO. Thousands of likes, hundreds of comments. This is so relatable. And when something becomes content, it loses its weight. It stops being a warning and becomes a punchline. By the time you realize how many payments you've committed to, there's no margin left, no flexibility. One unexpected bill pushes everything off balance. The debt isn't abstract anymore. It's in your face every single day. And that's when it stops being just your problem. Up until now, this felt personal. Your card, your decisions, your problem. But money doesn't work that way, especially when lives are shared. Partners discover balances they didn't know existed. Joint accounts drain faster than expected. Debt collectors start calling spouses. The shock isn't just the amount. It's the betrayal of trust. Not because someone wanted to lie, but because they didn't fully understand what was happening themselves. Money pressure changes everything. Conversations get tense. A $12 takeout order becomes a fight. Someone buys coffee, and suddenly it's, "Do you know how much debt we're in?" Beacon. Trust erodes. Not dramatically, slowly, like rust. Here's what makes it worse. Single-income households. One person working, one paycheck. Supporting everything. Mortgage. Car payment. Credit cards. Buy now, pay later. Utilities. Groceries. Insurance. All fighting for the same dollars. And then property taxes go up. Insurance premiums spike. Your fixed mortgage payment jumps $300 with zero warning. Suddenly, there's no breathing room, no options. Just constant, low-level stress humming in the background of every single day. This is where debt stops being about numbers and becomes about life. People stay in jobs they hate because they can't risk a gap in income. Others quit for their health believing it'll work out, only to discover the math doesn't hold anymore. What felt like flexibility turns into fragility. And in relationships, this strain is immediate. There's always something to worry about. Another bill, another payment, another surprise. It doesn't stay contained. It shows up in sleep, in patience, in how people talk to each other. The worst part? Most couples didn't make one catastrophic mistake. They made dozens of small ones that seemed reasonable at the time. A trip here, a card swipe there. We'll deal with it later. By the time the consequences are visible, the debt feels woven into the relationship itself. Fixing it feels overwhelming. Talking about it feels exhausting. So avoiding it becomes easier, but avoidance doesn't stop the damage. The pressure is always there, quiet, heavy, influencing every decision, every plan, every argument. This is when people realize debt isn't just a financial issue, it's a shared burden. And it only gets heavier when the world keeps pushing you to spend more. Every year, headlines celebrate. Consumer spending breaks records. Over $1 trillion spent during the holidays. Sounds great, right? Strong economy, happy shoppers, America winning. Except here's the part they bury. A massive chunk of that spending is financed. Not with savings, with credit. People are celebrating now. The bill comes later. And the banks, they love this. Credit card debt in America just crossed $1 trillion. Household debt overall, near record highs. Interest rates on new cards, still sitting above 24%. But limits keep expanding. The ability to borrow is still there, even as borrowing gets more expensive, because the system doesn't need you to default. It just needs you to carry a balance. Month after month, year after year, roughly half of cardholders pay their balance in full every month. Internally, banks call those customers unprofitable. Think about that. The people doing everything right aren't the priority. The system makes its money on everyone else, on you. Promotions everywhere, Payment options multiply, friction disappears. The goal isn't to make you reckless. The goal is sustained dependence. From the outside, it looks like everyone's just bad with money. But when wages lag behind costs, when emergencies are constant, when credit is marketed as a solution instead of a tool, the outcome becomes predictable: stress spending, convenience spending, anything that makes life feel easier right now. This is how personal stories become a systemic pattern. Not because people are stupid, because the structure rewards delay over resolution. It rewards minimum payments. It rewards fragmentation. It rewards silence. And as long as balances keep rolling forward, nothing looks broken until the moment it is. $500,000 in debt at 40 years old, $200,000 shrugged off as overwhelming. Minimum payments costing as much as rent. At this level, something breaks in the brain. The debt doesn't trigger urgency anymore. It triggers shutdown. I don't even look anymore. I just keep going. This isn't carelessness, it's paralysis. When the balance grows beyond what you can realistically imagine paying, your mind goes into survival mode. Opening statements becomes emotionally painful. Adding up totals feels pointless, so people stop. Stop checking, stop tracking, stop engaging entirely. Ironically, this is when damage accelerates. Minimum payments at this scale drain thousands a month without touching the actual debt. Interest compounds. Fees stack. But because the numbers are already astronomical, each new charge feels insignificant. Hope replaces planning, not because hope is logical, but because it's less painful. I'll get a raise. I'll find a better job. Something will change. Extreme debt becomes an emotional burden. Shame creeps in. You see others online looking comfortable while you're drowning. You feel trapped in a problem you think you caused alone. Long-term planning feels unrealistic. Saving feels impossible. The focus narrows to surviving the next month, sometimes just the next week. Spending becomes a coping mechanism. Avoidance becomes a habit. The debt grows, not because people don't care, but because they feel powerless to change it. This is the stage where the problem feels permanent, and when something feels permanent, people stop looking for real solutions. They start looking for shortcuts. Here's what nobody wants to admit. Most people in these stories didn't think they were making reckless choices. They thought they were adapting, keeping up, doing what was necessary, and for a while, it worked. Life moved forward, bills got paid, nothing collapsed all at once. That's what makes this so dangerous. Debt rarely announces itself as a crisis. It grows quietly, hides behind minimum payments, and promises that things will feel easier later. By the time the weight becomes impossible to ignore, it's already woven into your daily life. This isn't about blaming you. It's about recognizing a system that rewards delay and normalizes dependence. A system where carrying balances is expected, where paying in full is treated like an exception. So here's the real question. How many people are closer to the edge than they realize? How many swipes feel harmless only because the consequences haven't arrived yet? That next purchase, that payment plan, that I'll deal with it later moment, it might feel like nothing. But nothing has a way of becoming everything when you're not paying attention. If you keep spending exactly how you're spending right now, where will you be in 5 years? Financially free or financially trapped? Comment your honest answer. If you think conversations like this need to happen more often, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and see you in the next one.